you're a lot like my mother because she like likes reading books, but as well she uses a lot of Instagram whenever she's bored with me. But yeah, but I just don't know how you survive without it because for anyone it's hard for them to survive because my mom, like even though she doesn't use it on the phone, uses she has Instagram on a laptop, so it's kind of incredible how you do not have it.
Yeah, I think I mean, like, I do have an Instagram account. I probably check it like once every 3 weeks to see if anyone's messaged me.
Wow.
Um,
Not
yeah,
even like 2 days.
nah, I don't really like it. I mean, I just got out of the habit. Um, I think the like one thing that really helped me when I was doing exams was, and this goes back to the thing about exercise, which is like really a magical superpower here, um, is every time I would like go 15, 25 minutes and I'd like feel that itch. Right
Hmm.
now, or before, like the instinct was go on Instagram, like get that little hit. And actually I found then like instead doing a bit of exercise, running around, doing some press ups, whatever it is, like that was a way more helpful, way more energizing way of like getting that boost. And it's also more time bounded because the thing that's particularly dangerous about social media, I think, for people with ADHD is, as we were talking about, like when if one work mental model for ADHD is that there's now and there's not now, and there's no sense of the passing of time in my experience, at least, or
So
little
like
sense of the
like
movement.
when
So
you
when you
use
go, yeah,
when you use Instagram, you like sometimes like with people who have ADD, like for them, like you saying Instagram for 2 minutes becomes like 5 hours. Right?
exactly. So like my younger brother who has ADD, his screen time on Instagram is like, yeah, literally 4 or 5 hours a day. Not great. Not great. You
But
know,
like, is it your younger brother or older brother?
my younger brother. I'm the oldest.
Oh, he's in college?
He's in high school. He's
Um,
probably your age.
I can understand why he's probably like working 4 hours and thing because these days, like schools, right? They give us a lot of work, so he must be trying to balance it out. So if he has ADD, I think that's his way of coping with all this work. So I think you can't help it because if TV is a way for him to take a break, then um and then there's probably that he might do like efficient work and stuff. Like that's what sometimes I draw. Like for him, TV works, but for me, drawing works, and then later I'd like do really well.
Yeah, that's fair. Drawing is a great one because it's creative, and so it gets your like juices flowing. I
Mm.
think um I think this is like another thing that's a real superpower for people with ADHD is they're generally very creative. They think in an unusual way. They have like a desire to build and make things, and like put things out in the world. And so I think that, and when you're not doing that, it can feel really unfulfilling. And so a big
Yeah,
part of like dealing with ADHD is around like that self-knowledge and coming to understand what's the right kind of like difficult outlet, what's the right kind of thing that's just a little bit harder than you're able to do, that you can do that you find really fulfilling and enriching rather than really sucking and listless.
yes. B-
um
So
yeah,
like, how's he? How is your brother doing in school? And how's your brother doing in school?
he used to be doing really badly. He used to be really distracted and he'd be like really disruptive in class and stuff. And then he got diagnosed with ADHD, and he learned a lot of these coping mechanisms, and it helped a bit. And then he got medication, and this is the other thing that I don't know what the conventions are or rules in India around um, ADHD medication and Ritalin and its equivalents, but for him, and it's different for every person, and it's the kind of thing that you would talk to like a counselor and a doctor about. But for him, it was really transformational getting medication, and it's something that I think there's a lot of fear around. but it can be really useful. And I definitely found when I was diagnosed and I got medication that it really helped me get through those difficult periods where like you just have to work. Because I used to sit in exams and I'd have an hour and I'd have to tell myself that I only had 45 minutes because I knew that I'd waste 15 minutes like looking out the window or getting distracted. And so I'd like plan out my approach as if I only had 45 minutes, with 25% of my time like just written off. And then when it's completely different when you have medication and you suddenly like you're really engaged the whole time. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
it's something that's worth experimenting with and talking with your family about. And you know, I was actually a bit against my brother getting medication too young. Like I said last time, like I wasn't diagnosed until I was 19. So I did 2 sets of like public exams that everyone had to sit, plus a university entrance, all without medication or even knowing that I had ADHD. And that was like as difficult as those were, it was really useful because it forced me to just learn how to work. Like if I were in a difficult situation where I didn't have access to medication, but I absolutely needed to get something done, like I can get it done. I'd like gone through that cycle. Whereas my younger brother, when he was medicated, he was 15, he'd never sat any set of real formal exams. So he doesn't know any different from doing exams, and his whole sense of what work is like is tied to his medication. So there's some trade-off, you know, and it's not at all obvious, and it's like right for some people and not right for others. But it's definitely something that I would like really recommend everyone who gets diagnosed with ADHD at least thinking about and talking about. And I don't know whether you've thought about that at all.
And do you support your brother like whenever he struggles? Do you help him? Are you
Yeah,
like
totally.
his
Annoyingly,
father?
I,
Did
I, I,
depend.
I actually more now help weirdly, my youngest brother, he's pretty good. Like he really found that it getting that self-knowledge and like doing subjects. Like the other thing is, of course, as you do less, as you grow up, you're able to do more stuff that you want to do and that you like, and you can choose what subjects to focus on. I gotta go in 2 minutes, by the way. But so as he's found himself doing more fulfilling like stuff that he's directly interested in, it's got a lot easier for him. But actually, I spend a lot of time helping my other brother who also has ADHD.
You have 2 brothers?
I have 2 younger brothers and a younger sister. Yeah.
Wait, I only thought you had 1 brother. That's it.
No, 2 younger brothers and sister. Yeah, my other brother, he has ADHD, and he finds, for him, he's very, very creative and generative, but he finds it very, very difficult to structure ideas. So
Yeah, same here.
yeah, it's really difficult, and it's just a skill set you have to learn. And like for me, a lot of it is articulating in full sentences what your different ideas are, even if then they're in no order, and then printing it out. And this is another thing that I would really say, like for the liquidity of the screen, whether it's a phone or a laptop, like screens don't prioritize information. Anything can be just as important as anything else because you can make it big and you can put it to the front, and that can be your open tab. So like I have like 800 open tabs or whatever.
You do?
And it's very frustrating because yeah, I have loads of open tabs because that seems interesting. Like I'll come back to that, and then you never do, and it sits there. But I'm never quite willing to close the tab because it is really interesting.
You just feel like abandoning it, right? You just feel like abandoning when you find something else interesting.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like it's hard to drive an idea or a line of exploration to conclusion, particularly on a screen. Which is why I'm a huge proponent of using writing, like using a notebook, and crucially a printer. I think a printer is your best ally, because my process when I'm writing an essay or a long email or a memo is I'll do a draft, which is just like almost just a dump of notes, completely unstructured, and then I'll print it out. I'll edit it with a pen. Oh, this needs to go up here. This needs to go there. I'll go back onto my laptop. I'll restructure it. I'll rewrite into it. Then I'll print it out again. And so I have this back and forth, and like that just works for me. There'll be a different process that works for everyone because, like we said, you know, the way that ADHD manifests is different for everyone. But like I found that very useful. Venica, unfortunately I have to run. I've got a
Oh, that's
call,
fine. I think we're
but
done.
this has been super fun. I hope to stay in touch. Please send me the version when it's done, and feel free to email me whenever. I'm always happy to ask questions or to call.
Wait, like, I just want to ask you a question. So, like, in the future, you're planning to be a student counselor because you can be a role model to people who have problems. Like, example, dyslexia, ADD. You can probably help others. So, is there any plan that you're gonna be a counselor, a school
Not
counselor?
not in the short term, because I think I have like more urgent things that I wanna do. But maybe one day. I really have to run, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But
sure.
I hope you have a good evening, and yeah, I'll see you soon.